Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite lacrosse podcast. I'm here with Scotty Rogers and Greg Beast Grenlian, and this is episode 15 of Rise Up. Fellas, welcome back. How we doing?
Greg?
Scotty's not doing well. Well, I'm just glad Scotty calmed down a little bit. He came in a little hot.
Yeah, Scotty's, we got good Scotty now, man. You guys, my only wish is that do we have a recording of Scotty when he came on hot?
I think we do. I recorded it.
Shit. Full in the shine shop. Yeah, dude, I've been good, man. Been grinding. FOA National Showcase coming up in a couple weeks. That's our big baby. So pumped to get that going. And holidays are like right around the corner, guys.
Yeah. Crazy. Scotty, what's on your Christmas list? Anything good?
I saw a Christmas tree already.
For me?
What's on your Christmas list, Scotty, besides a new laptop?
Man, Becca was asking me. We've been together for like 3 weekends straight, traveling, doing stuff, and she ran a little 10K this weekend. So we were talking about the next step was Christmas, and I get heavy anxiety from just gift giving. I think it's such a miss if you don't ask. Like, what are you going to functionally use? If you're going to use something every day, I would love to buy that for you. But if it's like something that just is worn once or twice, why am I buying that?
So, Scotty,
what?
Some advice. I tried to shoot for the moon when I first met Jenny on our very first Christmas. I got her a Louis Vuitton bag that I knew she always wanted, and I absolutely barely could afford.
Yeah.
And then after that, she loved it. Then the next year, I was like, how am I going to top?
Yeah.
God damn it.
You buried
way too high. What I will recommend to any men who are listening to this, find her best friend, ask her best friend. That is the home run. They never steer you wrong. They're always right. Works every time.
So, Leo, Sibes, I think I'm going for a getaway cabin. You ever see the Getaway House?
No.
Getaway House is like you rent like this. It's like it's almost like
it's one of those cabins that they lock you in and you got to figure out how to get out.
It's an escape room, but it's nice. No. So you rent it in a mountain and it's like 3 days. It's basically glamping. It's like I can't camp. I can't fend for myself. So I'm going to go into a house.
I think that's a great move. I love the experience gifts, especially if I'm paying for it. I want to fucking do it too. So if I'm buying it, I'm going to do something that we can both enjoy, and I'm going to, you want tickets to a Patriots game?
We're both going.
Well, look, if your women are anything like my wife, all she wants to do is spend quality time. She wants to create memories. So, that's a home run right there.
QT. That's what we always hear that word, QT, in the relationship game, quality time.
No, I think this year I'm going for the experience gift too. I've been to Europe once in 9th grade on a school trip, and I've never been since. I've never seen Italy, never been to Paris, never been to any of these places. So we're trying to pick a place to go to Europe, and I think we're both going to save our money and do that for our Christmas gift this year, my girlfriend and I. So we're excited about that.
Love that, dude.
Good move. The euro is like 1/100th of a dollar right now. So get over that.
Shave that mustache off before you go over there.
Yeah, good. That's a great.
No way. You're going to fit in great in France with that mustache. You kidding me?
Yeah.
You get yourself a nice horizontal striped shirt. Get over to France, man.
Yep. We're on, what we're recording. It's November 15th. I'm 15 days in, about 2 weeks. My muzzy's looking strong. Scaring all the kids on the street and raising some good funds along the way. Big shout out Movember Foundation. If you don't know about it, go check it out. Raising awareness for men's health issues. We love all that good stuff. I got enough mustache for both of y'all, so I'm glad we can have it riding.
I keep it going. Just keep it going, man. Just keep it going. I think what's the you want to plug the what are you at right now, raising donation wise?
Yeah, I have a pretty modest goal. My goal is $3K. I don't love begging people for money. I'm about halfway through the month, so I'm right on track. Like I said, my whole goal is spreading awareness about all men's health issues, mental health, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, the types that specifically affect men, and just like I said, raising awareness, being okay with going and getting stuff checked out. I said it last week on the podcast. Because I went into the doctor, got myself checked out, had these Movember foundations instilled in me, I was able to kind of catch my case early And that's what's, why I'm here talking to you guys.
Hey,
I caught it early.
just a little plug for the, for another podcast on our platform, Speak Your Mind, right? That we talk about mental health here. That's the one that I know we are all interested in. Greg and I have been talking about being guests on their podcast over there, and just I love what they're doing. I love how they're addressing mental health as far as athletes after you play, when you get out, depression, the feeling. That's not our platform right now, and those guys are doing a great job bringing that to the forefront. So just wanted to shoot them a little plug.
Amen.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys supporting me and my message in Movember. And I appreciate the guys at TorchPro giving me the platform where I'm able to spread my message along. But yeah, fellas, I really, really thank you. Before we get into next, let's give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. We got Rowback. I know it's getting cold out. Get your hoodies, get your quarter zips. Use promo code RISEUP20. Scotty, I saw you got a pair of those joggers. How are they treating you? I'm trying to get a pair. How'd you get the hook up there?
I just been screenshotting and DMing and begging essentially, but it works. So I'm like, hey, if you got these in a 2XL, I'll try them on for you. Just let me know. And they're like, all right, we'll send them your way, idiot. They did the same thing with the Irish. They had like a shamrock quarter zip, and I literally like screenshot. I was like, hey, you guys know I went to Notre Dame, right? Would love to test that out for you.
You guys know I'm Irish, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes, we love Rowback. We love the gear. I got to get myself some of those joggers now that it's cold. It's freezing out today. The weather changed. And let's give another shout out to our other presenting sponsor, Level Select CBD. It is formulated with premium CBD and complementary active ingredients to deliver results that you can feel. Level Select produces their own premium quality CBD and can deliver the best products to you for the best prices. It is all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm about to re-up on these. I'm out of the CBD with the melatonin ones. Greg loves those as well. Make sure you use promo code RISE20 to get yourself some Level Select CBD.
You guys know, yeah, I'm actually, I would love that too if those guys could send me some of those, because I'm resorting to other resources now to go to sleep, and it's not great. So I need some more of those like CBD gummies.
We love it.
Jesus.
We love it. And I'm going to give another quick shout out. Greg touched upon, his big event for Face Off Academy. We know Greg's been crushing it there for years, but big shout out to 42 Performance LLC. Scotty's new venture, Scotty's new gig. Scotty, plug that a little bit. Tell us about 42 Performance LLC.
Yeah, so like I said, I did the sales thing, guys, and it was very stressful in my life, but it was a good opportunity for me. I wanted to see if I could proceed in that area, but after a year, I just, I know what I'm good at. I know I want to be a coach. I know I want to influence kids. I know I want to speak. So 42 Performance involves strength conditioning, goalie training, and motivational speaking. So if all those three things in the forefront, if some team wants me to come speak to their group that's in that, we're in all that little that arena. So I got three things in that arena.
Good for you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good for you.
Thank you. I know. Appreciate it.
Listen to that, kids. Chase your dreams. Don't ever let someone tell you can't do something. Scotty, still getting after it. Retired life, fuck that. He's grinding still. We love it. We love it. We're rooting for you. We love to see it. You had a big turnout out in, what was that, Minnesota?
And by the way, it's getting unbearably cold already there. So that place we just missed. I think we missed the bad stuff, because that was.
Did you do that with North Star with Ian?
Yeah, it was me, Ian, and Rambo are starting, because we're going to run some summer events out there. So just doing a little prepper in the winter, getting the word out for the summer camps hopefully on Lake Minnetonka. I'll be on a boat.
You guys doing clinic, or are you doing overnight camps out there?
So I think the goal, the winter was just clinics. The summer is going to be a big three event summer out in hopefully, like I said, Lake Minnetonka, which would be nice.
Let's talk, man. I haven't been out to see Ian in a while. Maybe I could get some FOA action.
I got you.
Hey, listen, my lacrosse stick still works. I can come out and help out too.
You would be you'd be a great Minnesota guy. We got to get you away from like the $20.
Rise up live from Lake Minnetonka.
Oof. You ever say? Have you guys ever been to like a lake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have, Greg, right? Yeah. I'm telling you, it might be the best unknown party spot in the country.
It's 200 yards of, you can make it from one side to the other going boat hopping.
Yeah. Dude, it's rowdy. It's so fun. Yeah, see, we're gonna get you out there.
I've heard some great things, and yeah, I'd love to get out there, coach it up. Yeah, I'm still coaching, guys. If ever you need someone, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You said you coached up a team in a tournament and they lost every game.
I know that's true. I got a big tournament coming up December 27th, 28th down in Naples, Florida. Yeah, sure. I'll go help coach out there. Come on.
Hey, are you a coach that like chooses by location?
No. Listen, if this New York City rent ain't cheap, I'm doing anything to supplement.
Dude, I fucking know.
So yeah, no, I got one client that I give lessons to every Monday and Wednesday. My boy Pedro up on the Upper West Side. Take the train up there. Look like a bozo on the one train with my lacrosse stick and my bag of balls. We go up there, we grind. Yeah,
you go up there near Columbia. You go up there near Columbia and
not that far up by just a little west of the Central Park.
Oh, cool! I was on 79 in Columbus for like 5 years.
Free field.
Oh, no what?
Free field? You got a free field?
My boy's got
dude, on Riverside there's plenty of fields, yeah.
My boy has a turf field in the basement of his apartment complex. Indoors.
All right, we're talking some crazy shit now. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I know. We're talking about New York City living.
Big hookup. He's my boy. It's all I got.
I love that.
But yeah, everybody, now we're shooting the shit about coaching, but we got a great episode in store for you. We got 2 more teams we're going to touch on in their off-season moves. We have a few more news updates from the PLL in terms of the off-season. We're going to touch on the Chrome, and we're going to touch on the Redwoods. We have a great interview in store for you guys with Connor Farrell. He came on. Greg was even slinging some milk for him, tossing it back. We had a great interview. But yeah, let's start with the big news story that came out of the free agent trade opening window was that the Cannons traded defenseman Matt Rahill and attackman John Piatelli for Redwoods attackman Matt Cavanaugh. Pretty decent sized splash for, the opening of the trade period.
Yeah, you know what? I think for those of us who have been following, we saw this coming. I think at some point the Redwoods, Notre Dame tight core group, at some point somebody had to move somewhere. And I think for Cav, he didn't know quite where he fit in that offense. And I think that Nat wanted to make a move that was both good for Cav so he can go do his thing, but also bring in pieces that they needed. And you know what else is just interesting about the way that this free agency is starting? We talked last week a lot, right? When Rubior left, about how this free agency thing is going to move. Do coaches want to pull the trigger? And as an aside, you guys brought up Coach Spallina, Joe Spallina.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about it. You know who loved to wheel and deal? Nobody loved trades more than Joe Spallina.
I know.
Nobody. Joe had he would be like, you know what? There's a 60% chance this is the right move, so we're going to execute that trade.
He likes it. Yeah.
And he just went for it, dude. So when we talked about that, looking forward to this in an Atlas situation, you have a guy who, and at first I was like, I don't know, man, he's got a lot going on, but his kids are going to college. So there's less going on at home. He's got a couple kids still younger, but I'm thinking man, when you have a number 1, number 3 pick, right? That's what the Atlas have.
Yeah.
Your team at time is built with a core. You have the league MVP, so you have a great face-off man. You have a great goaltender, and you have a great youth injection of core. Joe Spallina is the name that I think is going to keep popping up.
But here's the deal, man. I don't know. Joe would be great for that team because, like you said, with the trade, 60% is a good move, whatever. But he's also good knowing, listen, let's get rid of Caraway. We have a valuable player there that we can get rid of. Let's just not hold him. Let's try to get some picks for him. Joe's a guy that builds for the future. So I like that. I like that Joe will do that. But the only problem I have right now with our roster spots in our league is that's all good, but there's just not enough room to build these teams. You need immediate impact, right? So it's immediate impact first, Caraway, that sticks out to me that guy's just sitting there. And after the season he had that first year, there's got to be second round pick value, first round pick value for a guy like that, right? Bucaro, right? Like these are guys.
Well, here's the other thing too, though, Scotty, is this draft is going to be so insanely deep.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of coaches are like we talked about, right? Like when you come in as a rook, like I can pay this rook a rook, or I can spend $5 more grand on a guy who has been here for a few years, but I don't know. Like, I just think there's so much talent that's going to come into the league that it's going to be interesting. That's why I brought this up, because I think coaches are just jockeying for picks right now. And they're all looking at the Atlas like, son of a bitch.
I think the Atlas are going to take Chris Fate.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get another defender. Tucker's on his way. I don't think Tucker's on his way out, but I think Tucker's...
No, but Chris Fake is a freak.
Yeah, he's like Tucker Durkin with...
Dude, he's a freak.
I can't believe he's still in college. I played against him in college.
I know.
Dude, we talked about this. There's going to be a whole bunch of guys that are going to come out
ready.
That, have full beards and a couple kids.
No, I know.
They're going to come out ready to go.
I know.
Can we talk about that Cav? Like, we were talking about Cav, and I was shaking my head through that whole thing just because you're right, Greg, but I also think, like, listen, I thought Ryder Garsney was always the outlier that did not fit in to what they were doing. And I don't know how that during that year, Cav became the scapegoat of he doesn't fit what we're doing. It's like Cav's been always able to play, like in Denver, you plug him in with Lawsy, you plug him in. I don't know if Cav doesn't deserve that narrative.
Let me rephrase it. Not that he doesn't fit, but when you talk about Nat St. Laurent is a big energy guy.
Yeah.
Right? Ryder is a overwhelmingly positive person to be around. Okay?
He's a spark.
Cav, love him. Can go up and down a little bit once in a while, right? And I think because of the respect he has for Cav, I think Nat's sitting there going, look, what we need, we have enough attackmen who are studs. Let's use one, give him an opportunity to be a stud somewhere else, and then let's get what we really need, which is what I think the Redwoods need the most, which is a flat-out speed dodger out of the middle of the field who can create offense. Because you're leaning so heavy on the attackman. I mean, if I'm playing the Redwoods, what am I afraid of? RP driving GLE, either leaving him my defender on an island so he can dunk it, or collapsing down on him and then he throws it up top and Miles bombs it too.
I'd be fucking pissed if I was Cav. I gotta be clear. This is how I feel about it. Like, I feel like Robbie comes in. Robbie does what Robbie does. I'm good friends with Robbie. I was roommates with Robbie on the Atlas. Robbie comes in. Cav was the quarterback. Cav was the guy, the captain clutch. And somehow the Robbie effect always prevails. And listen, that's okay. But if I'm Cav playing for the Canada this year, I will circle that game on the calendar and I will try to have about 7 points.
Well, of course, because he's a competitor.
Right.
And that's why we love him. And nobody competes harder than Cav.
Yeah.
But I think when you have Rob Pinnell come in, you're going to give him the keys to your offense.
Yep.
And I think, like I said, I don't know if anybody has more tools in their toolbox than Rob.
No, I agree.
But my point was, it's less about Cav not fitting in the offense and more about saying, this is a guy who can get us a ton of value. They got 2 guys out of that trade.
But how much value do you think they got? You said they needed a explosive midi dodger. They got a solid stay-at-home defenseman, and John Piatelli, who was a solid college attackman. He's great for Cornell in their championship run. But
here's something
he didn't get much pro experience last summer.
Here's what people always forget about trades. Here's what people always forget about trades is sometimes you're trading for a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you're trading for assets that you are going to use possibly for another trade, or you're trading for assets and you're going to replace somebody with one of those assets for another trade down the line. And I think that you use the fact that you can get some kind of, something back for Cav right now because he can still start on any team in the league. And you use that opportunity. He's just the odd guy out who just didn't. That's the guy they picked.
Why can't? So if I'm Boston, did Boston have a chance to ask for who's available to trade, or was it just that you could have Cav?
No, the way it works is Nat was like, "Here's who I want," and they had to give it to him.
So listen, if Jules Henneberg would have been the guy, I love Jules. Jules would have been the guy. that I would think should move away from the Redwoods and then would actually benefit the Cannons the best there. That's what I think
I
would make the
agree.
most sense.
No, that's a great point. I feel like the Cannons have had a rotating cast on that left side. They had Shane Jackson playing that left wing a little bit, who has chemistry with Lyle playing with the Swarm together.
Yep.
Then they had Cochran go in late, and Jackson wasn't playing in the back half of the season. And Cochran, he played well. He was a Cannon in the MLL. He played for Cork. He was one of his guys. But that left side, it's not like there's an open slot. It's a little bit of a rotating cast. The Cannons tried out a bunch of guys. Obviously, Cav's going to go in, and that's his spot. But it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like a big gaping hole that the Cannons had.
I don't know if that, like I said, the move to me was just a move. It wasn't a big splash for me. Cav's going to go there. I don't know how Cav's going to play with Lyle. I really don't, because both are very ball dominant players. And also you have Ryan Drenner probably has no idea what the hell's going on in his life right now. He's probably like, where do I fit in this equation, right? Right.
Well, I think a lot of the guys on the Cannons are going to be trying to figure out what's going on this offseason.
Yeah.
And I think, when you have a season like they did, where, dude, they were within like 2 goals of almost everything.
Yeah, I know.
How do you say, okay, how do we get those 2 goals next year? Like, how do we if we just did that 4 times, we would have been like 3rd in the league.
Yep.
So how do they get that? You don't blow the whole thing up. And people are like, oh, free Lyle. You're like, dude, this team was so close in every game. The last game of the season took the whips to the last second. So I think all they need is that they're trying to find pieces. But, look, our job as analysts is to figure out what happened, right? And my thing is, I think Nat St. Laurent looked at the culture of the locker room and said, one of you guys, whoever has the most worth that I can get for what the Cannons are willing to give up, and I can go make you happy somewhere. Because he also, you guys have to remember, like, there's a human element to these trades. Like we said, these guys, they would much rather have somebody else do this trading and do the financial stuff, but they have to do everything. Nat St. Laurent did not sit there and go, I can't wait to get rid of Cav. So, I think there's a human element to this, is how can I do right by this person, but also get some worth that's going to help us down the line? Because we don't know what their plan is on trade day. Before we start, maybe the Redwoods trade one of these guys and a pick to move up or something. Who knows?
No, absolutely. And while we're here, let's talk about some of the free agents whose deals are expiring for the Redwoods. Your guys' boy Hartzell, Miles Jones, Glaze, Jack Kelly, Jack Neer, John Sexton, among some other guys. So they have, a lot of people that they need to either tie down or that they could possibly keep making moves. Who do you think of that group is must sign?
Jack Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think after the year,
what about Troutner? I mean, they kind of went back and forth. I love
Timmy, man. I kind of know Nat just from playing with him for like 5 years. He's very about consistency. Mm-hmm. The way because you can build a defense around what you're getting every game. And I think Timmy goes really well. Timmy could go off for about 20, 22 saves in a game and be player of the game. But right now, Jack, you can feel the way he spoke about Jack in the post game and stuff. It's just like he has that USA experience. He has the leadership experience. He has the adversity. I know, Greg knows this more than most. Also, Nat loves adversity, guys. He loves guys that can kind of find it, right?
I just spoke to Jack today because he wants to focus a lot on mobility this offseason and step his game up even more. Now, this is a guy who there was 4 years there where he was like, arguably the best goalie on the planet, trying to make another run at Team USA again, and he's still trying to improve his game. So that says a lot about what he expects next year. It's interesting. I think when you look at, who they absolutely have to sign, I know Hartsy's coming back for one more year. What's their draft pick situation?
They have the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah.
Really?
So look, we have guys who a lot of contracts are up. 2, there are guys who are on the cusp, right? That want to win a championship. They have good careers outside of lacrosse, like Glaze, for instance. What are you looking at 3 years from now when you have the number 2 pick? is there a goalie worth the number 2 pick? Right? They have a face-off guy. They have sturdy goalies. They have an incredible communicator in Glaze. I think if Glaze is able to play, I don't see how you let him go.
No. Wait. Let me push back. Can I push back?
He's the backbone of that defense.
I got to push back on this though, because this is where I think you're both correct, but you have to start thinking about the future. It's not. They've been a great defense in that league, and they've been great, and they've been veteran, and they've been communicating. If you don't get ahead of it now and you don't make the hard decisions with these picks, you're going to get stuck with an old, bad defense soon. And what's going to happen is it could be a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. Glaze is doing that job on Wall Street. Glaze is great. He's going to be in shape, whatever. But you can get ahead of this now, get some value for Glaze, let him move on, and then try to work this keep Epple around, keep Arden Cohen around, right? And then you're still kind of young because Arden's young. Epple's now the vet. And then you can kind of groom another guy to keep this thing moving.
I totally agree with you, but knowing Glaze the way we do, I don't think Glaze is interested in playing for anybody else. I don't think Glaze is particularly interested in getting paid way more. I think Glaze loves where he's at. He wants to keep playing with Epp. I think he wants to retire next to Epp. But also, Glaze has what you can't really teach.
Yeah.
If I have, like to your point, if I want to say we get Bink number 2 in the draft, right? Dude, could you imagine being a rookie defender and coming in and having Glaze as your communicator? Dude, that's a wrap. So I think if there's a lights out LSM, lights out defender, even a lights out 2-way midi that's going to play some D-mid and offense for you, like a Tarafanko type, dude, you need Glaze there to make that transition better.
I think
if we're talking about Epple as like, okay, maybe he's a step away from retiring, I would be totally on board with what you're saying because that's a covered defenseman. That's different. I mean, Glaze can do this forever until he wants to hang it up because Glaze isn't a come out and shut you down defender. No. He just makes the whole machine work, and I've never seen anybody do it better.
So would you say, well, Ross Zimmerman did it better when he was at Notre Dame with me, but he was a good talker, and that's what Glaze learned.
I never played with him.
I know, but I played in that. I played in that system. We breed that third defenseman, second defenseman being the quarterback, being able to run the show. Every year we have one of those guys in our defense. But if Epple's around, and you don't need a guy like Chris Fake to be there, then yes, keep it together. But if you're like anticipating one, so you're saying Epple leaving would be easier than Glaze leaving. You need Glaze, you think, more, the value wise.
Yes, because even though Epple is an absolute juggernaut,
yeah,
you can bring in athleticism. Those are more easy to come by, in my opinion.
I agree.
A takeaway check guy rather than a Glaze who runs the defense. I know personally, like, if I'm a D-mid and I come into camp and I have a guy who's literally like, stand here, do this, you're second. Go. Holy shit, the learning curve goes like that. That makes the whole team better.
Yep.
So I guess the question is, like, when we were looking at just the list, in my opinion, on the list of guys that you mentioned, I think for value, because he doesn't need a huge contract, I'm not speaking for him, I'm just assuming. And a guy who is worth something that you don't find very often as far as his communication skills, man, I just Glaze is the guy that I think that you have to keep.
Agreed.
What about Miles Jones? You know, he's kind of their big midi. He led the team in points this year. He's a 2-point threat. He's pretty much defined himself as a staple, of the PLL. Do we think that he's getting up there in age, or must keep?
No, look, the question was one guy that we actually have to keep.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Miles started off slow and then became who we thought he was going to be in the PLL. And Miles is awesome. But, like I said, finding an athletic 2-point threat in the draft is a little bit easier than finding a world-bound communicator like Glaze.
Well, you can is Perk on that list?
No.
Perk's supposed to come back?
Perk's back. He's
so I'll say this every time. I don't see any sense of Perk and Miles being on the same line or on the field together.
I would if you had a speed dodger from X who forced you to collapse down, or else, like if you had Wolf back there in his prime, sit him up on the corners. I dare you to slough down and guard GLE so I can throw it over the top. And then if you have a midi who can beat his man every time and then throw it back over the top or get it through X and then get it for the second dodge, that's what I think the Redwoods need. If the Redwoods have a flat-out speed dodger, because I love Bertrand, I love what he brought.
They have
100%.
They have
another option on the midfield, a full speed ahead guy like Harry in his prime who could split people, whatever. Somebody who can draw the defense to slide. You would have two hammers up there crushing you, but they don't, Scotty. You're right. So there isn't any value in having those two hammers because neither one of them are going to catch the ball at the midfield and just blow by their guy.
Well, Montgomery could be, I think, with another year under his belt. I honestly think now that your first year, you come in, you're like, where do I fit in? I don't want to step on. I don't want to step on toes.
He really came on. He
could be that guy. He could be the guy that you're asking for, the speed guy. Now, if he learns to dodge hard and then look to throw it over the top, he wasn't looking to throw the ball over the top.
No, he's a little bit more one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Alley dodge. He's got a lot of shake, but I'd love for him to just flat out catch it and sprint at the goal.
And then throw it back.
Right. Yeah, sprint at the goal and then either throw it back over the top or get it to Rob right away. And that machine would move real well and easy. But I feel like that's if he can become that guy, then you're talking.
Yeah, I think you guys make some great points. I think with Kavanaugh getting moved on, I know they got Piatelli back in that trade, but I think it also leaves room for either Bertrand or Jules to slide down to attack. And then that opens up that spot at the midfield for the draft pick. Like you said, a party starter, someone that can get the defense rotating off that first slide and get that ball slinging. I think it'll be interesting to see.
I love that analysis. I think getting Bertrand into that third attack spot because he proved how damn good he is at cutting, finishing, all that stuff, and then keeping him on the field more often, allowing a new, young, Costabile-esque type of guy to come in.
I think you're right. I think that was the mindset with that move. I think watching Bertrand do what he did this season, he kind of took the reins on the offense a bit. If it wasn't Rob, it was Bertrand, right? So,
but let's not forget about Piatelli, though. Piatelli's a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. Scored 1
knows?
million goals at Cornell. Took him to the national championship. Yeah. I'm rooting for him. He's a Mass guy. I root for all the Massachusetts kids, so I'm rooting for him to get a shot this year for sure. But it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. I think a lot of good points, a lot of big decisions that Nat needs to make with some big name free agents. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. They made the first splash in the pond in terms of off-season moves. So I'm interested to see if anything else comes, out of the way. I know we have some news coming out later this week about the Sixes. I'm keeping my ear to Lack's Twitter about some new moves coming out in terms of trades. But let's talk about the second team we're going to touch upon today, which is the Chrome. We have Connor Farrell. Make sure you tune in a little bit later, hear his breakdown of that island of the misfit toys that I love to call them and how their chemistry is. But, they have some deals expiring this year, 11 players. Connor's one of them. I don't think he's moving anywhere.
I think they all
they also – they have Jordan McIntosh, Jackson Morrill, Rannigan, Eli Salama, who, was a great LSM for them. And then who else? Nick Grill, who was moved over to them from the Whipsnakes, defenseman, solid D guy. And then they have the 5th overall pick in 2023. So
I think so for me, I think they re-signed McIntosh is Pseudo's boy. He's been on part of every one of those teams that Pseudo runs. So he's the vet. He's going to keep everyone together. He's got a little shit to him. He's the attitude. He's like the uncle of that team. Salama could probably move along. He'll probably move on to it, maybe get a different change of air. I think Rannigan is also a staple with that Rochester kind of group. And I know if it's Pseudo's the coach, he's going to extend that invite to Rannigan in unless he has other stuff going on career-wise that he might not want to be there. But besides that, I can't see McIntosh and Rannigan leaving that core group. Jackson Morrill,
I think you got to bring him back.
You bring him back, but having the impact you had from Nick Turn and Wisnauskas, I don't know if it's mandatory now to do that, because those two guys produced at such a high level as rookies. So
that's a great point.
I don't know. Like I said, I think Salama goes. I think Nick Grill, great defender, right? He has a winning pedigree from Maryland. I think someone would be lucky to have him play. I think he would fit in that Water Dogs defense. I even think the Atlas could pick him up some way. He would fit in there. But I honestly, the upstate guys, the root guys, I think Greg would agree there. Those two, Rannigan and McIntosh, are pseudo guys.
Yeah, I think the Chrome are definitely a team where the guys want to stay.
Yeah. And,
Connor will tell you, it's not like where they're going to be like, hey, I'm out of here for this extra grand.
Yeah.
But what's the Chrome draft situation?
5th pick.
5th.
What is the 5th pick, though? Give me, you guys talk about this draft being deep. You know me, I'm a pretty big asshole with keeping up with who's coming out. Who would be the 5th best player, if I had to assume?
I mean, we're going to have to get the full list of kids.
We could do a draft. We'll do our own draft.
These kids I thought were going to be in last year's class.
We could do a draft preview. I think that was our plan.
Goddamn right, we're going to do a draft preview. Well, here's the thing is, when you look at a draft, what do you need? You need a finisher. They got that. You need an initiator. They got that. You need a goaltender. They got that. You need a face-off man. You got that. And you need a communicator on defense. Okay? They have all those things. So, Sibes, this is your squad. What is the most important piece that they need to add to get over the hump?
Middies.
Beat the chaos. Beat the West.
See, I think they're in such a good spot because no disrespect to the people that we named, they're not their big guys. Obviously, besides Jordan, he had a great season. He's Mr. Consistent, right? He had 13 goals from the midfield this year.
He'll be back.
Yeah, but so besides him, I didn't list Nick Turn. I didn't list Wisnauskas. I didn't list Malloy. I didn't list Justin Anderson. So I didn't list Heathcock.
Are we sold on Justin Anderson as their primetime midi?
I think he's so fast getting downhill. I think he's got an explosive first step, can beat his man. I thought he had a great breakout season this year.
He's all right.
So, yeah, I was impressed with him. Could he use a compliment?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, I used to tell people this all the time. Being an attackman and catching the ball at 3 yards out and dunking it in, a lot of people can do that. Not that many people can dust an LSM with a 6-foot pole from the midfield and get downhill and sting one in the bottom corner. That's asset.
Here's my question: who is the Chrome's 2-point threats?
Anderson had one. McIntosh had one. That's it. They had two pointers.
I could get one, closing my eyes and grip it and rip it. Glazner got one. I mean, it's not. This isn't one.
Glazner had 2, my friend.
Right, but he wasn't even aiming for that spot, and he closes out.
4 points.
Awesome.
Okay, so
but one is not a 3. 1, 2 is
Glaze,
not a 2-point threat.
Back, Glaze. Don't listen to Scotty. You're my boy.
That. I don't give
Make
a
sure
shit.
you guys bleep that out. Now, listen. My point was, we talked about this multiple times during the season, right? The Redwoods won some games and stayed in games that they may not or should have been able to do, but because they're a 2-point team, they're built for it. If you add a 2-point threat to the Chrome, you're talking a whole different deal. So,
that's a great point.
So are there guys out there that could be a 2-point threat for them, whether they're available free agency that we've spoken about in the past, or are there guys coming into the league, we don't really know yet, that could be good 2-point threats?
Sibes, who hammers the ball right now in college from about 12 to 15?
Let me think. I think hammers the ball. Well, I think the big guy coming out of college next year will be Matt Brandow. He left Yale. He's playing at Notre Dame. He had like 100 points last year.
I know he is, Brando, yeah. The young guy.
Yep. And then I'm trying to think.
That's
Is
what I'm saying.
Schellenberg coming out next year? I don't even know. I don't know who the big midi could be.
Greg, that's
Sam Hanley. Sam Hanley.
So that's what I'm trying to say. As much as we know there are tons of athletes that are coming out, that skill to hammer the shit out of the ball right now is not something that a lot of people are doing in college either. They're playing so many, they're playing quick,
Not yet until the 2-point line comes into college in 6 years.
6 years? I like that. I would like that because then we can start seeing who can hammer the ball.
Yeah, you're going to see it, man. Once we get these boomers out of that committee, young bucks are going to make that 2-pointer happen. Besides what I'm talking about.
Right now, but also it's really hard to evaluate that trait because a guy in Virginia, if you don't get the ball from 10 to 12, you probably aren't allowed to shoot the ball.
Dude, the last couple guys I can think of that I was like, holy shit, they're going to be 2-point monsters.
Chris Hogan in college.
No.
I'll give you guys a sleeper. How about this?
Matt Brownie, when Brownie was coming out of college, everyone knew he was going to be a 2-point guy.
2-point guy, right.
And Costabile. When
Kyle
Costabile was coming out, I was like, that motherfucker's going to shoot.
Kyle Wharton back in the day for when he ripped the net. That motherfucker, hey, don't shoot the ball from 50-yard line.
That's a name right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'll give you guys a homer sleeper pick. Okay. Keep an eye on it this year, the college season. 5th year at Villanova, Matt Campbell, lefty hammer, New Jersey kid.
How much are you getting paid? How much are you getting paid now from Villanova to slip these in there for draft picks?
Zero.
Holy fuck.
But Villanova does pay me to do
I've just got his first NIL deal.
Unbelievable.
I'm telling you.
No, but I'm serious. When I look at the Chrome, wrapping this up, when I look at the Chrome, I love what Saib says. We like those guys, but the guys who are super valuable, they're not going to walk anyway.
No.
And I think Sudo's going to look at this and say, if we can find a way to get a 2-point threat, I think this team is built for a run now. And yeah.
Trust the way they've been drafting. And if you look at what Greg said, you want a attackman. You got 2 attackmen. You got 2 sick attackmen that you've drafted. You've done a great job there. You draft Miles Harris, right? You draft the best defenseman. He turned out to be lockdown defender of the year. You draft Scanoni, who ends up being your starting goalie and your backbone. So right now, their hit rate on their drafts, they're hitting 100% on all their draft picks, which a lot of teams in this league can't say. So I would just trust what they're doing. If he says he needs a LSM, I'm sure they're going to hit on it too.
No, I think that's a good point, and I think you guys are both right. That, they have their guys and they do have it's the 5th pick. It's going to be an important player that they're going to take. And I think they're going to assess, what their real needs are. It's definitely not down at the attack. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see going forward. And with that being said, we are happy to turn it over to my new friend and Scotty's best friend, Connor Farrell, for our great interview with him.
LI native, baby.
Tell me that's Scotty. Is that him jumping in?
Nah,
he can't figure out his new laptop.
Too late.
He can't. Oh man, he's been dying to get you on, and he can't even show up on time.
Okay.
What's up?
Oh, get the camera going.
What's up, man?
Scotty, the camera's too close.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not in the fucking mood today. Shut the fuck up.
Scotty, can you see us?
Scotty, just back up a little bit.
Hey, Connor, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Where's the camera? Okay. Fuck this camera they sent. I'm using my own. There we go. Fuck it. What's up?
What's up?
What's going on, brother?
How are we doing, Scott? Why are you in a bad mood? Why are you grumpy?
This is how life goes when I don't have shit the way I want it.
Rub him down. Okay. Rub him down. He needs to loosen up.
Let's go. Oh, Connor knows. Connor likes me this way. Let's do it. What's up, big boy?
Scotty, what color is that hoodie?
It's tan. It's a color heart. You have to get this at the Army surplus store.
What camera are you using? Is that a potato?
Hey, Greg, I quit my job. So
are you shooting this on a calculator?
I use my own cameras now.
Nothing's plugged in, Danny, and that's how it's going to be today. So let's get going.
All right. Welcome to the podcast, Connor Farrell. I believe this is take 3, third time's the charm. Well, we're ready to have you on. And by no fault of Connor's, it was our fault. On the technical end, Scotty had a tough day working. He's a working man. And he hustled back home to get on and talk to us. So we appreciate that from him. I think Scotty wants to lead it off, and he's got a question for his boy.
Connor, yeah, buddy. Pumped to have you. Long Island guy, just like me. I know how you, you came up. I kind of blue collar guy, just like myself. With that being said, that edge, that I know I always had a chip on my shoulder playing some of these guys in the league. How do you feel when you go into these matchups? Right, you go against some of these big college guys, right? These big North Carolina, these ACC schools, right? Coming from LIU, as I say. Post, baby. I love that spot. What is that edge, man? What's that like for you? What's your mindset as you shoot up every week?
I go into every single game the same exact way. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm just going to come in, knock you in the fucking face, and win the fucking ball.
Love that.
Are we allowed to curse on this? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Connor, you don't even know what's
Greg gets bleeped out, but everyone else is cool.
I go fucking ham, Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Kids watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Connor, I mean, one of the things you and I have hit it off right away when we first met in 2019. And one of the things I admired about you was you walk the walk. The way you handle yourself, the way you play. I always say, one of the issues that I find with the PLL, the way the face-offs are officiated and all that stuff, I feel like it kind of is stumping the ability for a young star to come into the league because the learning curve is so drastic. But you came in right away. You caught on very quickly. What was really impressive to me is I watched your game from 2019 just to now, okay, just a couple of years, and you have added to your game every single season. You've refined yourself, and that says a lot because I think the mistake people make is they think that when you're a pro, what you see is what you're going to get every single year. But you're proving that your ceiling is exponentially higher than it was your rookie year, and you continue to improve and add to your game. What are you looking for after each season so that you can kind of take your game to another level?
Yeah, like each season I'm looking, I watched the film over again a few times to see what I was doing wrong, see what I could fix. Because like you said, you're going against the best guys in the world. They're going to catch on quick if you do the same move over and over. So you got to add something else, like another weapon in your back pocket each year. And if you don't, you're going to get left in the dust.
Yeah. And aside from the talent level, obviously, that you're going against, what's the difference between preparation in college compared to being a professional level face-off guy?
Well, in college at D2 level, you didn't really get many fans in the crowd or anyone watching. So now the lights are shining on you. Again, every game I'm nervous. I feel like I'm about to throw up, but I go into it every game. Like I want to win the ball. I want to do whatever I can to get my team the W, do what I can to help out. But yeah.
Now, dude, I used to say it all the time. The adrenaline dump before a first face-off. I hate the day leading up to the first face-off. I can't wait to get it over with.
Yeah, it's that first whistle. Once you hear that first whistle, you're fine.
Yeah, then you feel it all flush, the sweat.
I get so nervous.
So Connor, in college, were you just manhandling people, dusting people, or was it, have you been on just a gradual progression up to get where you are now?
It slowly got better. Like my freshman year, I only played like 3 games because I joined late. I joined in the playoffs because I was playing football at first. And then like sophomore year, I had a good year. I was maybe like 60%. And then junior year, slowly started getting better. But senior year was when I really realized that I could play at the next level because I went 3 games where I didn't lose a face off. And I was like, oh, maybe if I keep working hard at this, I could get to the next level and play against the best guys in the world.
Well, I mean, I think you're doing that pretty damn well. I think, knowing the way you are, knowing your great personality, you're very, very positive. You're always smiling. You always make me laugh. You always make people around you smile. But I know when you get on the field, I mean, you'll smile and still knock someone on their ass. That's where people, I think, tend to they don't understand, right? Because they see you off the field. You're like, yo, brother. And then all of a sudden, when you're on the field, you're going to be on your ass, right? And I think that's the switch that you have found in the pro game that, yeah, I'll be your friend, but I'm going to make sure that you feel my presence. And I think you've made your style of facing off in our league is a fun to watch for me because I know Greg's always talking technically. For me, that guy that's not really very knowledgeable about face-offs, I could kind of see you go out there and just, if I know who's the bigger, stronger guy off the rip, I kind of go with like, wow, he's probably going to have a day and use that power to his advantage. My question to a lot of our guests is rivalries. Like I always ask the goalies, when you look across the other cage, who's the guy that you get juiced up to go against? For you, we asked Grant Ament, who's his matchup? Who's he hate going against? Who do you love to compete against in this league? Who would you say is your rival?
I love going against everyone. A rival? I wouldn't say rival. I feel like I'm close with everyone in the league. But who always gives you a tough battle? You never know how it's going to end up. Is like Jake Withers, because he has so many different weapons. Like he could swipe you, he could clamp you. Even when you get the ball out, doesn't mean you're gonna get the win. He's coming right after you. So I always look forward to games against him because me and him are really good friends. Yeah. Like we just played each other last weekend up in Canada for a little scrimmage for box. But I really enjoy playing against him because you never know what you're gonna get from him.
Well, yeah, going off of that comment, man, how is that for you? Right, this is your first season box.
This is our first box season, and I really wanted it to elevate my field game. And like not just the face-offs, because face-offs are totally different in box, but like handling the ball after the face-off and being able to go down the field, maybe make a pass, play a little better defense. And I love it. It's physical, it's fast. I loved hockey growing up, so it really reminds me of that. But the big difference is those picks that you can do in box. It's unbelievable. You can 20 yards away to light someone up.
I'm sure you're just absolutely.
Connor, I gotta tell you, dude, when I was drafted into the NLL by the Rochester Nighthawks, I came into camp. Back then, Americans had no idea what box lacrosse was, like at all. And you show up, and I'm just there with my outdoor helmet. I have no rib pads. Learned real quick. Yeah. And in comes Reggie Thorpe. And if people don't know who Reggie Thorpe is like an all-timer. Played D. Oh. Yeah. Dude, upstate guy through and through. Comes in, and I'm watching this guy run block. So the dudes are coming down on offense, and he's just flat out putting people into boards. And I was like, holy shit, what did I sign up for? Dude, and this was when he was like, that was his last season, and he was doing that. Man, he was a menace. Dude, indoor is like the most fun version of lacrosse in my opinion.
Yeah. Last week was my first week at camp, and then it's the most lacrosse I've ever played in my life.
Right?
I did maybe each practice I would do maybe about a minute and a half of face-offs. The rest is just straight up defense, shooting drills. I've never played this much lacrosse in my life.
Are you sore or what?
Oh my God. I came home down the side right away. I was shot. Ice bath, everything.
Oh, dude.
That's great. Are they having you run some tranny, or are you kind of walling up and playing D?
I was playing more defense these past 2 weeks. So I was facing off playing defense, which is fun. Yeah, brings back awesome. That middle linebacker days. I love it.
Yeah, they tell you just to cross check everybody. The first time I played box, they had me playing defense, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've been in the cage my whole life. They're like, all right, so any guy that comes across your face, make sure you two-hand them. So like anyone that came across my face, I cross-checked, and then after I'm getting back-picked, I'm getting table-topped. I've never felt a pick in my whole damn life, and people butt pick me. They're like trying to go after me the whole game. I know your style. I know you're definitely going out there. You're not making friends right away. So I can see that being a really physical brand out there for you guys.
Yeah.
No, I think that's such an interesting point too, because we've seen Nards and Trevor have success playing in the NLL. Is that something that they talk to you about, they talked you into, or just something that you want to do personally for yourself, or just kind of the trend that what the pro face-off guys are doing these days?
No, honestly, Patty Merrill, the coach and GM of the Seals, contacted me, and I really wanted I was thinking what I could do to really elevate my game for next season for field. So I was like, perfect opportunity. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. And you get to hang out in San Diego for the winter. I'll take that all day.
You get to bring your fiance out there yet? Or
I'm going there this weekend. She's coming with me, so she gets to hang out there.
It's free vacations. Free vacations all winter, babe. Yeah.
Yo, so Connor, this is my question, because you're one of the few people in our sport that I feel like outworks me as far as how many things you're doing. So because you run Farrell face-off training out in Long Island, and you do an awesome job. And then You are the head coach of Sachem now, right?
I actually just ended that because I'm playing box.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jesus.
All right. So he was the head coach at Sachem. Now he's playing indoor. So now you're playing PLL. You're playing indoor. You coach face-offs. You also run a club team now, right?
Yeah, I started my own club team.
What's the name of that?
Great South Bay Lacrosse.
Okay. So now you have a club team as well. You own a facility, right? You're running clinics. What do you run, like 12 hours of clinics a day? Dude, Connor's like, yeah, I'm working from 9 a.m.
Dude, listen.
I'm like, wait, you're working 12 hours? Like, yeah, kids just skip school and come here because my kid's sick.
Seems you gotta understand. Connor's one of the only guys because Greg and I are probably right. Greg and I are like the two guys that grind lacrosse full time since the beginning. A couple of us, and watching Connor do it, it's pretty awesome because he's an old school mentality, dude. He's like doing 20, like we were, 20 different things. Yeah. I'm sure his taxes are a fucking mess, right? He's got things coming in everywhere.
You think he's reporting those in the doctors? No 1099s there. All off the books, all Venmo. Come on.
No way.
He's smarter than that.
Come on, bro. This is going out. We can't have him on the ass.
There's something you have to understand about the clinic business is that for every 5 parents that are there, at least one of them is counting your money.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there going, oh, 7 kids, you're charging $50. Oh, you're like, one of you guys is going to report me one day. I'm not taking any chances. We're doing everything above the table here. But yeah, so you have a lot of plates spinning, which I admire because, I think the obvious misconception, or at least it wasn't a misconception early, but one of the obvious things that people always say about lacrosse is like rich preppy school, kids do it. But not all of us came from that background, and you can't teach somebody to learn how to struggle and hustle. And I think for you, like you do it with a smile on your face, which makes me and Scotty feel like you're just one of the dudes because that's how we are, man. We love to grind. So like, what are you not doing yet that you want to try?
It was the box, and now I'm in that, but I don't know.
Other than marriage.
He's gonna be a fucking Connor. You were doing jiu-jitsu too. You were doing jiu-jitsu, weren't you too?
Yeah, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu too.
Because this guy, unbelievable.
Yo, wait till somebody drops the gloves and he goes full guard.
Armbar.
They're like, why the hell? How did this happen?
Fucking armbar.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't how you do it.
Do you attribute, some of how into it you are? Obviously, you have a great work ethic and you love the sport, but do you attribute some of that to kind of your late start in it, and you're not really burnt out and you're just taking it all in right now? Do you attribute some of that to that?
100%. Like I really didn't start loving lacrosse until my senior year of college, so I'm still like the honeymoon stage right now. I still love it, having a great time. I'm not sick of it yet. But I don't see that coming anytime soon because I'm having a great time.
Well, that's what's awesome about you, Connor, is your trajectory. Like I had said, your ceiling is so high because a lot of guys will get into the league and they'll be as good as they're going to be. They don't make any effort to add things to their game, whatever. I experienced that because I started in high school and I didn't really start becoming only a face-off guy until I got into the pros. And they were like, you're not good enough to do anything else. So like for me, I was like, man, I'm still like a lax rat. Like I still love this and I'm still carrying my stick around like, a noob while these other guys are they're as good as they're going to be. So I look at your trajectory, man, sky's the limit. What are some things that you want to add to your game for next year? Because I also, after you answer that, I also want you to tell us your evolution of your stance because you came in as a knee down guy. Now you're like exclusively standing neutral grip. So first, I want you to just tell us what you want to add to your game. Then I want you to tell us about the evolution of your stance.
I think the big thing for next year, adding to my game, is being a threat with the ball after the face-off. So I think that's my next thing next season. So, like coming to the league, I was in college. My first 3 years, I was stand-up.
That's right.
And then I went down my knee for my senior year, and I came into the PLL first 2.5 years. I was knee down, but then once they changed the rules, I figured, why would I be coaching all these kids, all these hundreds of kids stand up when they watch my games, see knee down? It's not realistic for them. So I want them to watch my games and see what I do right or see what I do wrong, and then we can watch my film together, and they can learn from it, or we could just go over what we can fix.
And that's what I mean when you walk the walk, dude. Dude, Scotty, like Connor, so the rule change happened in the NCAA. You weren't allowed to go knee down anymore. You had to go stand up.
Yeah.
Connor decided he didn't give a shit. He goes, maybe I won't face off at as high of a percentage at first. And I'm just going to only do this because I need to be exactly who I'm telling these kids to be.
Yep.
That would be like you just suddenly having to play goalie with your opposite hand all of a sudden.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Listen. We talk about it all the time. We talk about, we've talked about other episodes how you and I like to be. We take pride in being ambassadors of the sport through our career. Connor, I honestly, I don't want to sit here and keep licking, ball washing you, but we.
That's what people do to come on this show. They know they're getting ball washed.
There's a respect there because it's a lot of us take like this. Us old guys like to take pride in like doing the right way. Like if you're gonna be a role model, listen, I don't give a shit what you do off the field. Listen, you've been with me off the field. I don't give a shit what you do off the field. But when you're doing on the field and you are teaching kids how to do something, it's really hard as a goalie because we get caught in this goalie space. A lot of guys cheat, bait, do shit that you really cannot teach a youth goalie. Like you can't teach a youth goalie to play. I always say you cannot teach a youth goalie to play the way Blaze plays sometimes. So like we do it and I do it too. I can't, I don't tell goalies to go hit people in games, but they they do that. So it's just in the face-off game, there's so many repetitions, right? That you have so many coaching points that you could actually go back and have real change in your players that you coach because you're like, look, I made this mistake and you do it the same way. So I just think that's a really big thing, man. That's a good answer because I didn't even think about that.
That takes zero ego to be able to do that.
Yeah,
because anybody can look at film of a kid and be like, "Hey, you shouldn't do what this kid's doing." But to be able to be like, "Hey, see how I dropped my foot back here? That you got to make sure you don't do that." Like, dude, that takes like, especially in the lacrosse world with face-offs, people are always looking for reasons to point out why you're not as good as you think you are, or knock you down because they think they have some kind of financial advantage to do so. So I just give you a ton of props for that. That's pretty awesome. Man.
Can we? I know Steves is a huge Chrome fan. I want to talk about you guys. I want to talk to you about Chrome.
I was riding you guys high this year, man.
I know. I was watching.
Yeah. So
listen,
you're riding this all year.
I loved watching you guys play. You guys looked like you just were having so much fun. You turned it around from previous seasons. And you just were such a fun team to watch. Can you kind of tell us about that, the locker room atmosphere, the kind of characters you have on the team? And, obviously you fell a little short this year, maybe some, aspirations for the future, how you guys are looking next year?
Yeah, I mean, that Chrome team was the closest team I've ever been a part of. Like, you would not see one of us walking around alone. You'd see a big group of the Chrome guys walking together. We're always talking. The group chat's going off. My phone's buzzing all day. Sometimes I wanted to put it on mute, but I love these guys too much, so I let it just keep going. But we fell short in the playoffs, which stunk. I don't know, like maybe we just fell short. But that's what we need to really. We had a great regular season. But the playoffs, like even playoffs in the bubble year, we were like the 2 seed again, and we lost first round against the Chaos again.
Well, watching you guys kind of go, you've been there since the beginning, right? I mean, like since the dog days, right? And I was a part of something like that in the Ohio Machine rebuild back in the MLL. We used to get like shit kicked, and then we won a championship. Probably 4 years down the line, added some players. But I know Pseudo's got to be. There's one guy I've always wanted to play for. He's just he's our kind of guy. I think if you're looking across the board, right? Is he a good? You think he's like a perfect match for you and your kind of style?
He's the perfect match because me and him we're really close. Like we went hunting together. We go hunting together and all that. But me and him are really close. I love him. He's a great players coach. Because like he'll like bring everyone in. He'll get everyone's input, and then we'll do whatever works best for us, but he's just the best coach, one of the best coaches I've ever had.
That's awesome. Yeah, he looks like he speaks y'all's language, and that's that. When he used to coach that Rattlers team, I know you guys had a lot of guys retire that were his guys from the Beast knows. When we used to play those Rochester teams, dude, they were like the same fucking team. Once all the box guys came back, we're like, they're gonna make a run deep into the playoffs. It's gonna be Ned. It's going to be White. It's going to be Galloway. So watching those guys leave of late, I know that had to be hard for Pseudo, but is he kind of embracing this youth that you got, this injection of youth that you guys have coming forward?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great rookie class come in, like with Wisnauskas and Nick Turner were absolutely unbelievable. We did the young guys that started to come up. We still got some of the. I think we got maybe 4 of the original Chrome guys from 2019.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not that same team from a few years ago. I can't believe I'm going to my 5th season already.
I know. You're like a vet, dude. It's like what Manley is. So, I mean, listen, having Mike Manley there, I think and him not retiring is fucking huge just because you know what he brings, man. Like that grit, that like nasty, tough guy. Like, you know, you need a guy like that. He's watching him against the Chaos. That was a prime example. Like, don't poke the bear, dude. Because that guy will fucking do it, right?
Totally here, man. He looked like he was 22 again. He was killing it.
Yeah.
No, I called you guys a couple times on the podcast, Island of the Misfit Toys, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean just because you guys have such a big group of characters, such kind of loud, you know, personalities. And who's the biggest character on the team? You know, who's cracking the most jokes?
Say Heacock. I know he's gonna say
it's my roomie, Colin Heacock. He's the biggest character. I love him to death, but he's nuts.
Yeah, he is nuts, huh? He's like Baby Huey. You ever see a guy that looks like Tarzan? Yeah, he like looks like Tarzan. He's like the perfect fucking specimen of an athlete. And he's out there and he's like the nicest, loving guy you'll ever talk to, right?
He's the best. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see, you know, when we have guests on here and we talk about the offseason that's coming up with free agency. Every team has their own, you know, core group of guys. They have, you know, and it's kind of weird, especially if you have started in the league on the same team and you haven't left yet. You see your identity there, right? So you've been a Chrome guy from the beginning. You know, describe this locker room because it's going to be interesting. We were discussing this on the last episode between loyalty to your boys and wanting to continue to be part of the locker room, but also there's money to be made. So, you know, what's that balance going to be like, do you think, for this squad?
I think this locker room is just so close. I don't think anyone will be we're not millionaires. I don't think anyone's going to be chasing
that extra $2,000.
Leaving the locker room for
Sorry, guys, I got $2,000 on the table and I want to be Oprah rich.
That's tax. So that's like $1,000. Yeah.
And I think this team's really going into a great direction. So I think we're going to be having a good core group again.
I know Sibes is dying to bet on you guys again next year. So
that future, I mean, that was going to put me on a vacation at the end of the summer. Too bad it didn't work out, but always next year.
Nice long vacation at Long Beach.
Sibes is up. What are you, a Hamptons guy or Montauk?
Oh, yeah, he's a Hamptons guy.
I rented the house in Montauk past 2 summers.
Nice.
Yeah, and Connor. He's not an LA guy, you know.
I've been out in Long Beach. Come on, I've been.
That's right. Yeah, we got
some time in there.
Yeah.
I got some buddies from Long Island.
Yeah. Okay.
I can hang. Come on now.
Me and Connor will take you to the inn until close in Long Beach. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, Connor, we want to thank you so much for coming on. Before we let you go, any final questions, Scotty, Greg, for our boy here?
No, man, I love talking to him. I'm just pumped that we got him on here.
Yeah, man, I love you so much that I'm drinking out of this gallon of milk, and I'm lactose intolerant.
I hope you share. Let's go.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, Connor. Look at him. I hope you shit your pants, Greg.
We got to finish. We got to wrap this up. I got to go to the bathroom already. All right, brother. Thanks a lot,
Connor.
man.
Thank you so much.
You on, dog.
Good luck in the NLL this coming up season. We're rooting for you, and go Chrome, baby.
Love you, Connor. Love you, brother.
Love you, boys.
Everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And I forgot to mention at the top of the interview, it is also Greg's best face-off friend, Connor Farrell. We're so happy to have him on. Guys, this was a great show. Anything you guys want to close out with? Greg,
I hope these guys, I hope everyone's enjoying what we're doing, right? I think we're doing 2 teams every 2 weeks. We want you guys to stay engaged, keep liking, subscribing, watching our content. And we're excited to just keep this thing growing to the moon, baby.
Yeah, man. We got the FOA National Showcase coming up first weekend of December. Excited for that. We got draft stuff. We got off-season stuff. We're going to be getting word soon that we're going to have some live shows again in PLL. We're going to be expanding that a little bit this year, including possibly a trip to the actual Sixes event. So can't wait for the next show because a lot of information from the PL is going to be dropping after we record this.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of stuff coming down in the pipeline. Like you mentioned, the Sixes. We have 2 more teams left to break down for their off-season potential moves. And then we get into my favorite part of lacrosse season, which is college lax. I can't wait to do that. Can't wait to be a homer and pump Villanova up until they let me down. But yeah, guys, make sure if you're listening on Apple, you're subscribing. If you're listening on Spotify, you're hitting that download button. And if you're watching us on the TorchPro YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribing to that page as well. Fellas, another awesome episode. And listeners, we'll catch you all soon.
To the moon.